You know, main thing other than actual character development. We open this week with the narrator, no, don't get out the counter just yet, as this was actually some necessary exposition that couldn't be naturally told to us through the characters or setting, so it gets a pass. But yeah, some princess from a foreign country had arrived at the Precure school, possibly to scope it out for a study abroad or something. This was eventful enough for the student council president, Amane, who, yeah, I also kind of forgot that was a thing with her, wasn't it? However, the biggest thing that stood out was the fact that the princess looked exactly like Yui. Gee, I wonder what sort of story they're gonna be telling this week. So, yeah, for those who don't know, The Prince and the Pauper was a novel written by the great American author Mark Twain. The basic premise is that a prince and a lowly street urchin happen to share very similar appearances, and for various reasons, often the prince just wanting to abdicate the throne, they switch places. Though honestly, I think a lot of you should know it because it's one of the most overused tropes ever. Yeah, honestly, when I originally read the synopsis for this episode, I just rolled my eyes and thought, really? This is gonna be one of the first spotlight episodes for Yui in a long time? A story that's been done to death even in anime, and frankly done much better in another magical girl show, but that's a topic for another day. Point is that I think Mark Twain himself put it best.
And I'm begging cartoon makers everywhere to let this tired story die.
Also, for some reason, Princess Myra here had a different VA than Yui's, Azumi-Waki, who I personally know best as Micah from Blend S. That tells me that they either wanted to give these two characters more distinguishable voices, or they just didn't think Hana Hishikawa could pull off a double act. You made the call. Anyways, it turned out Princess Micah knew about Yui, and thus... Yeah, count that. She had actually heard about her body double from Monbei, who, yeah, actually has been the center of this show's conflict, so maybe we'll get to learn more about him through this episode and tie it back to the bundles, or...
Nope.
I mean, unless this cat turns out to be like a bad item or something, then yeah, this episode mostly isn't going to tie back into the main plot, unfortunately. Anyway, while the original characters of Mark Twain's story had switched places because of their genuine curiosity of the other's lifestyle, created by the massive class divide that was very prevalent in England during the 1500s, these two switched places because the princess wanted to eat the town's food. Because really, this show is just a parody of itself at this point. Anyway, the rest of the team soon arrived to give the princess a tour of the town, while Yui did the usual antics that come with this sort of story. The idea, of course, being that the pauper acts far more crass compared to the prince, or princess in this case, but nah, it's not quite exaggerated enough here to make it all that laughable. Honestly, I get a better laugh out of the show's inability to rely on visual storytelling. Granted, some exposition from our main characters was necessary, and did give some nice characterization to Micah about her royal life, and how she was a bit of an OC planner, which was actually interesting, and would foreshadow some stuff later in the episode, which, yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, while they were gathering some food for the princess, a used and abused childhood friend found the better option. Takumi, bro, go for it. Not only are you going to avoid the food bills, but you're going to be marrying into money. Granted, I did like that he was able to recognize that she wasn't Yui, showing that he does know his childhood friend better than others, and definitely better than Yui knows him. Anyway, they went to Amane's place to eat their spoils. However, having never partaken of much Japanese food, Princess Micah didn't know where to start. No, you really shouldn't do that because one, that's gonna fill you up, and two, the sugars are gonna make everything else afterwards taste weird. I mean, didn't we have a whole episode about table manners? Yeah, I don't care if this is meant to be a liberating scene for the princess where they encourage her just to eat what she wants. You do not start with dessert. That is something you should not be teaching to your target demographic. I'm serious. Anyway, as the narrator explained, again, I won't count it if it's necessary exposition, the two girls were going to switch back before a big speech at that restaurant from the aforementioned Table Manners episode. And in a prequel bit, the servant Gemma revealed that he was well aware of the switch and was just playing along with it. Honestly, him and the princess have been interesting characters and could have carried this episode. Hell, the Bundle Gang didn't even really have to play a big role here or anything, though it would have been nice if they played some sort of role rather than... Can we just end the review here, please? So, yeah, no bundles this week, just this royal putz who makes William Shamspeare look like a Chad.
こちらはサンザー王子。連れ去るなんて卑劣ね。考察ありがとう。
This was the foreshadowed evil cousin who wanted to usurp Micah's throne on the grounds that the princess was a bit nervous when she gave speeches and needed a script to deliver them. Like, really? That's your big argument against a political figure? Hell, the fact that she doesn't need a teleprompter puts her above the grand majority of politicians in our country.
And then the future would be better. That's it. My plan is great.
I get that this is supposed to be a part of Micah's characterization, but for the plot and the setting, it's just nonsensical. Hell, what is this idiot's plan? Make her miss one speech? Well, okay, but then what, dude? People are going to know she's missing, they'll find her eventually, and you'll be charged with treason.
It just don't add up!
Oh god, I never thought I'd say this, but can we please bring back the stupid Robo-Turtle? So anyway, Yui broke free from her ropes because don't you know you don't need the dress to be a superhero in these shows anymore?
良い子のみんなは真似しちゃダメよ。
Oh sure, now you wanna be a smartass. Well, don't think you're gonna get any subtractions this week, lady. Still, because they needed to fulfill their quota, she did transform, and I'll admit, her giving her whole transformation speech over Amani's pendant to the princess was kinda funny. Also, thank you, Rosemary. I did need another facepalm. Anyway, she dealt with the guards and Prince Lamos so easily that they barely needed to animate anything. Meanwhile, the rest of the Cures transformed and posed as the restaurant's complimentary Uber service because who really cares at this point? But hey, look, here's some cheap-ass Yuri. I'm sure that'll make up for this waste of an episode.
二人はなんとか元に戻ることができ。
I can't stand it anymore!
And we ended, admittedly, on a nice moment between Micah and Gemma, where she assured her loyal servant that having taken a little break from all of her royal duties managed to refresh her and regain her lost smile. Though, and Yui was there too, but hey, it's not as though she's all that important of a character in this show, at least according to the writers. Okay, look, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't mind another filler episode and would just mark it off as harmless. The problem is, we aren't under normal circumstances at this point in the series. For one thing, by my count at least, we only have 14 episodes left after this, and yet our lead character remains inexcusably underdeveloped. Hell, I'd say the one-off princess character here got more development. And two, this episode was written by the head writer, and therefore it really should have been used to help develop the characters and or plot. But no, just more empty calorie filler! Damn it. For our manga reviews of this franchise, I've said that I don't think every Precure episode needs to have a big epic battle and can be more of a slice of life as long as it's well written and does develop our main characters in new and interesting ways. Unfortunately, this episode does neither of those things. Well, okay, the stuff between Micah and Gemma was kind of touching, showing how the latter does understand the needs of his princess and trusted her enough that she would eventually fulfill her royal duties. Meanwhile, the princess is actually a character I really relate with as someone who is currently reading from a script and does have very compulsive needs to plan everything out in advance due to my autism. And while I don't think the princess is on the spectrum, as frankly I think this show has more than enough characters like that at this point, she was still a very amiable and likable character who I wouldn't mind if she completely replaced our current lead. Yeah, as I said, I don't mind a more slice-of-life story if it advances our main characters, and Yui, ironically, has been starving for development. And yet, even with her name in the title, she still remains an outside observer to many of this episode's events with little actual agency. Not helped by the fact that while the one-off characters were written pretty well, the actual story here was not only nonsensical with the evil cousin's stupid plan, but the fact that the narrator had to exposit this much in one episode is indicative of a writer who can't tell their story properly. This is especially damning when you consider that said writer is Sawako Hirabayashi, the head writer. The person above anyone else who should be advancing the show's main plot and characters, and yet this was nothing. Maybe this scene will somehow tie back to Moonbay, but that's a big maybe, and even then, it's just a small part of this episode that should have been using its time much more wisely, rather than just telling another variation of an old story and not really adding anything new to it. So overall, as a take on Mark Twain's old story, this was nothing special, and as a part of the show that's slowly winding down, this was an absolute waste of an episode. Again, I think Mark put it best.
Oh, poopy!
As mentioned in this very review, in the near future, we are going to start covering another lesser-known magical girl anime, but one of my personal favorites, Tante Opera Milky Holmes. Our plans currently are to have it replace the PPGZ reviews when those eventually do wrap up. However, before then, do expect a little intro video for it in the coming weeks. Look forward to it. Until then though, farewell for now my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I gotta go clear my head with some actually good writing.